Burning Desire.
Oh, I'm on fire. That's all I can think about every time I hear that. Burning
Yes.
Desire. Okay.
Springsteen.
So I am Carl. I am an alcoholic in my sobriety days. August 22nd, 2014. I totally forgot for a second. Holy shit, my brain. My sobriety days, August 22nd, Carl. Remember that. 2014. And you are.
I think your sobriety date is in Leo. So maybe that's why we're connected because I'm a Leo, my actual birthday. Anyway, I'm Lindsay. My sobriety date is September 6th, 2015. And my birthday is August 11th.
Oh, neat. And this is SoberPod.
Soberpod.com. Yeah, SoberPod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.
SoberPod is a podcast dedicated to the idea that one addict or alcoholic helping another is crucial to building a life in recovery. And join us this season as Lindsey reads from her book on occasion, in the Spirit Vigilante or Spirit Vigilante, and you can get her book by going to thespiritvigilante.com. And then we, of course, read from our book, SoberPod, 366 effing days sober, and you can get this book by going to soberpod.com. Okay, Lindsey, are you ready? Are you pumped? Do you want the healing to begin?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this. You know what? For the people at home, I do want to say I turned on my Instagram this morning, and I was, after doing my meditations like I do, and actually I started journaling again, which I really enjoy. I totally forgot how much I enjoy it. And then I spotted Lindsey doing yoga with some puppies.
Yes. I was afraid what you were going to say. You never know what I'm.
Whatever you're doing on the Instagram. But all I know is I'm like, you are putting puppies to work in a yoga day.
Yes.
They better be getting paid. All I'm saying is if those puppies are getting paid.
Better than that, they're hopefully getting adopted.
Oh, wow. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So they're rescue puppies from Freckles Foundation. And they are going to bring them to the yoga class this Saturday at 10 o'clock at Doggy Zone in Rockville, Maryland. So we're going to have a puppy yoga.
So at Doggy Zone in where?
Rockville, Maryland.
Rockville, Maryland. At what time?
10 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay, so you can go to thespiritvigilante.com and get that information, but I had no clue that that's what was going on, so now I'm even more jazzed. I just thought you were doing a puppy yoga class. I didn't think that you I thought people would bring their own puppy. Can you bring your own puppy though?
We thought about doing it that way, but then I really wanted to kind of support a greater cause, and
Sure.
You never know how what qualifies as a puppy, right? Size-wise. So this gave us a little bit more control over it.
I'm doing my shit with the Saint Bernard, and he's crushing me.
Yeah, exactly. Puppy is a pretty wide definition. Yeah. So I've never taught puppy yoga. I've been a student in goat yoga, alpaca yoga, and kangaroo yoga, but never puppies.
We are so on different levels when it comes to this shit. We are you and I are I got my dogs and everything, and I'll lay there and let them lick on me and shit, but we ain't doing yoga. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the owner of Doggy Zone said, in our board meeting last week, someone brought up puppy yoga, and I thought you might be the perfect person for that. And I was like, I've been waiting for this for all my life.
I was made for puppy yoga.
Yes. Yes. I am so excited.
Now, I'm surprised you haven't done the chicken yoga yet. Have you done
I want to.
Okay.
I want to. That's on the horizon.
Yeah. Well, you just got to go through the animal kingdom a little bit more.
Exactly. It's Noah's Ark.
Yeah. Yoga 2x2. All right. So did you have a good week? Did you have a good holiday? What'd you do? You were doing I noticed other postings around the interwebs. I was curious. What are you doing out there?
Oh, a lot of things. I was traveling last week a lot. Really cool stuff, though. I took a training on neurolinguistic programming, which is a psychology-based technique or methodology, I guess you would say. I went to this VIP dinner with David Meltzer, who's pretty big in the motivational speaking realm.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. And yeah, really good stuff. Really building out Spirit Vigilante. Going to have some exciting online opportunities coming up. So
Awesome. That
how about
sounds
you?
good. I just sat around and picked my butt.
Excellent.
I didn't really do much. I mean,
Okay.
what did I do this weekend? I did I hosted karaoke night on Friday night.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, which is fun. I mean, not many people showed up because it was Easter weekend kind of a thing.
Oh, right.
But
right.
but yeah, I mean, it's always fun. You know, I there's nothing more enjoyable than watching people, play games, win prizes, and sing songs, and old people, thrusting their pelvises like.
Yeah, going sober is a very different experience.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
I've learned.
There's also a guy who was like maybe like 4 days sober, and I just look at him like, dude, like I couldn't have handled any of this. I mean, it's so surreal, right? Because you're in like it's a sobriety club, and like people are all sober, and there's not.
Oh, so this was sober.
Oh yeah, it's sober. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were sober watching
No.
traditional karaoke.
No. This is sober people also
Oh,
being
that's so
sober.
fun.
Yeah, which is
Okay.
kind. I mean, yes, it's fun, quote unquote, but you really gotta you just gotta let your hair down on a level that I mean, at 4 days sober, I would not been capable of doing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of vicarious embarrassment there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's cringeworthy, like on so many levels that I just can't even. But yeah, that's kind of what I like about it. It's so cringy that it's like fun,
Yeah.
So I did that, and then we just did, the Easter things, the things, the baskets, the candy. I mean, our kids still expect baskets. They're like freaking in their 30s and shit. They're still coming over for chocolate.
They're looking around.
Yeah, where's the basket?
Is the basket? You hit it very well. The Easter bunny hit it well this year.
Yeah, but we did discuss leveling up our Easterness with making it kind of prize-worthy, right? Whoa. So that we can now, because everybody's going to be adulting, right? So now we're going to start to get some money and gift cards in the mix, and we're going to make it more like a fun thing versus sticking with the Easter bunny thing. Our youngest is 12; she's coming out of it,
Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense then. Why you're still kind of in that world.
Yeah. We're kind of moving into a different world. Hey, wait a minute, Lindsey. Are we fucking talking about sobriety here or not? What the fuck are we doing?
Let's
what
start
the
with
fuck is
let's start with your reflection. We can probably cut about 10 minutes of that.
No, we're gonna leave it all in just for the people, because
Okay.
they're gonna be like, wow, they normally cut a lot of this shit.
Okay, there we go.
Lindsey, are you gonna read anything from your book relating to this topic?
No.
Okay.
No.
So as we talked about burning desire, that's what we talked about as the topic for this thing. It is based off of the reading from April 21st from the book 366 Effing Days Sober. And really, I think it goes down to the core essence. It's almost like not step one, but almost step zero, right? Mm-hmm. For me, it's I really had an issue with this stuff. And maybe that's why I think I write about it a lot, actually, in the book, which is, really coming to terms with the, my nature. I just didn't understand myself very, very well until I actually understood myself very well. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So, Lindsey, I'm going to read this, and then hopefully you're going to have something enlightening and epiphanistic to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here it is. April 21st. We don't shoot our wounded. This business of getting and remaining sober is fucking hard, is it not? For some of us, it is the hardest thing we will ever do. The personal strife and confusion, the desire to drink, and the desire not to drink can be terribly confusing, quote unquote, baffling even. Some of us get relief right away. For others, it can take months or longer, but it can and does happen. Some of us may feel cursed and even jealous as we see people have the temptation lifted and from them while we still struggle. If this is you, your path may be more challenging. But if you can stay the course, you will find the rewards are just that much sweeter. Reflections. Is there something else I can do to ensure my recovery today? Am I doing all that I can? Daily challenge. Have you tried being of service today? Who can you help today? Even if just a little. All right, Lindsey. I guess the question here is, how long do you think it really took for you to get sober from the point of trying, like that one day when you were like, I really need to do this? And we think about it just in a really light way. Like I really need to get sober, to like, man, this fucking sucks if I, you know what I mean? Like, where was because there's always that little thought before the actual day, you know what I mean? Like before the actual day that you really commit to it, like there's always that, like there's like this really weird window of like, you're kind of like, I'm thinking about getting sober, but I'm just not sure. I really need to, but I'm just not sure if I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that window probably lasted about a year for me of really questioning it. I wasn't considering abstinence, but I was really trying to control my drinking. And then once I learned that abstinence was the answer, I was totally, felt totally defeated. And some reason, I was talking about that in a meeting this morning, for some reason I decided to surrender and all of a sudden take suggestions from people, which was very out of character for me. So that's how I know that there was something higher helping me to even want this. But how about you?
This last time, and I know this because I was surfing Reddit, and I was drunk, and I was on the Stop Drinking forum there, the Stop Drinking subreddit, and I would just look at the subreddits, but I didn't want to log in, and I didn't want to communicate, and I didn't want to participate. And then, and I was drunk one day, and I was looking at the Stop Drinking forums, and I was so happy for people that were getting sober, because I was like, I so wanted to so bad.
Oh, so you wanted to? Okay.
Oh yeah, I did, and I would just read their stuff. But then again, like the weird fucked. This happens all the time. Dudes will walk into meetings and they'll want to get sober, but they're like, this is really good for you guys. Like somebody just did it the other day, right? Like he comes in, he's like, this is really good for you guys, but not for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not there yet, or whatever. I don't know what it was. And so I actually created an account on Reddit just so I could gift somebody some Reddit gold for getting sober. Like I just, congrats, good for you kind of a thing, while I was drinking, right? And then it took me, and because that's when I created my account, then it took me another 2 years, right, to actually and I would try all the time. Like I would do all those same things. I would make a declaration on Monday, and by Wednesday I would be right back at it. And let me just say, the reason I think I wrote this thing was because it's like, I see dudes come into meetings now and they do that shit out loud. You know what I mean? Like I did it in private. I didn't want to drag anybody else into my shit, in my whatever. I would listen to stupid podcasts, or I would I'd browse forums or whatever. But I wasn't about to get anybody in on my shit. And that would be embarrassing. That would be too fucking much, right? And then to have to admit it to somebody else, holy shit. That would be terrible. That would make it too real. You know what I mean? I would have to then participate with other people. They'd ask me, how's it going? I'd be like, drunk on Wednesday.
You would have to keep yourself honest. So when you say they're sharing it, are they saying in meetings, like, I can't stop drinking and I
Yeah.
want to. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I wrote this one, because it's like I see people doing it out loud and I feel so, because they just, I don't know if I would have been able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, burning
I don't
desire,
think
like
so.
say like I'm fucking struggling right now and it's Tuesday and I'm going to drink. I mean, I did that for 2 years, man. I would have done a burning desire goddamn meeting for 2 years. I just could not. I couldn't come to terms with the fact that I was an actual fucking alcoholic who needed to drink whether I wanted to or not. Right? Like, I had no choice in the matter. And that just, like, and I know there's somebody listening right now that fucking needs to hear that shit.
Yeah.
And that they're like that someday they'll get 10 years and they'll be joking about it, right? They'll be joking about when their sobriety date, if they remember it or not, right? Like, that's fucking amazing, right? Right? Because
Yeah, that's what a miracle. What do you think shifted in you?
geez, I that last day was really tough, but I've been doing it for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, and I was cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what it was. It's like, I know I'm a good person. I know I'm not horrible. Like, I have a job. I give my paycheck away to my wife every goddamn week. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want anything. I just want to stop drinking at some point,
Right.
But I can't. Like, I want to, but I can't. I mean, I don't even know how that works. That's part of what I wrote there. It's like, I want to, I mean, I desperately want to, but I can't. And to me, that was like baffling. And I didn't understand it. And that's the other thing, is like, I never had a problem with alcohol until I had a problem with alcohol. And so when that happened, I was confused. I was frustrated. I was baffling. I was absolutely just like dumbfounded that I found myself in the spot, because I really thought that I could manage things, like I don't know about you, but like, did you like I always had my shit under control. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, generally, like, I came from nothing. I pulled my bootstraps up, fucking like you know what I mean? And I always wore that badge of honor, but this fucking thing got me, and I was so like, how the fuck did this happen?
Right.
Because I was not going to be this dude. I was not going to be my parents. I was not going to be the people that I grew up with. I wasn't going to be like them, right? And I wasn't. I didn't drink in the bars.
Yeah.
When I got older, I kept my shit at home.
Yeah. We drink differently than other alcoholics, is what we tell ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So, what about you? Did you like, what shifted for you? Where was so I don't even know if there's a shift for me, honestly, other than like, I was tired, I was beat, and I prayed out, and I cried out to God, and I said, please just fucking release me. And it got weird, and I was released, and I got enough grace to see myself, right? I got enough grace to look in the mirror, and I was just like, oh, fuck, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So what about you? Where did your shift happen?
I can relate so much to when you said what happened, like, how did my life get this way? Because there was a moment when I looked in the mirror, and it was almost like seeing your life flash before your eyes, but it was all of my lost years when I was drinking, and all of that doom flashed before my eyes, and like almost like coming to from a dream. I said, or nightmare, what are you doing? And it was this very, very quick moment of clarity, looking in the mirror, and like, this isn't the way things were supposed to go, kind of thing. Like, 5-year-old Lindsey did not dream this life up. And I could tell I was only going in one direction. And there must have been like a tiny percent of me that wanted to at least try or see if I could be healthy. And that must have very barely outweighed the part of me that wanted to die and destruct. And I can't explain that. That's the grace part, like I said. But yeah, that's when things shifted. And it doesn't always look like that for people. I mean, there doesn't have to be this burning bush moment, right? Like it can be of the educational variety, or you're just tired, or you don't know why this time's going to be different, but it just feels different. So,
And if it is a burning bush moment, maybe the police will show up.
yeah, maybe that'll be exactly.
maybe if you're actually burning bushes,
Maybe that's your rock bottom.
maybe
Yeah,
yeah, maybe you'll get the wake up call that
exactly. Just add arson to the list
exactly.
of felonies.
So when you got sober, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, like I don't even know how to explain it to people. Like, dude, I have done some shit. You know, I have you know, I had lung surgery when I was like in 2020.
Right.
You know, I have ran from the police. I have spent time in jail. I have fucking, you know, I've done harder things, right? The quote unquote harder things. Shit, I just recently went and got, like, you know, cancer removed from my bladder. And by the way, I got to go back in. I have more bladder cancer. That's going to be fun. So, but it's really strange. Nothing in my life compares to getting sober in terms of level of difficulty. Like, I don't even know how to fucking explain it to people, because that's why I make it such an important part of my life, because it was fucking hard. It, even as, like, quote unquote graced was given, you know, in that thing, everything after that was still pretty fucking hard. And by the way, sometimes it still is, but yeah. It was like the fact that I had to, like, kind of start from the beginning and get the fucking toddler legs out and stumble and crawl and cry and live in this fucking painful confusion. It was fucking hard. I don't even know how else to say it. Like, so I needed way more than just a fucking quote unquote 12-step program. I needed fucking help. You know what I mean? Like, I needed a lot of forgiveness, and I needed a lot of compassion and a lot of love, because I just did not have any of that. And and you know, it's like coming in from the desert. You know, you're fucking parched as a motherfucker. I was drowning in all the other shit. Mm-hmm. So was it hard for you? Like, did you have, like, because I just feel like I had a slow fucking fucked up start. You know, it's like I felt like I would stop and start again, or, like, you know, my legs didn't work, my tongue didn't work, you know, shit, my brain just, everything was just weird, and I just didn't get it. For a long time. It was about 2 years in being in recovery, where, yeah, I didn't drink, but it was fucking hard. So I guess, how did you know, like, when you first got sober, like, when did you get to that realization point, like, oh shit, I actually really do have a problem, and now I actually really have to make a commitment to, like, doing this recovery thing? Like, when did that come into your brain?
Maybe it hasn't happened yet. Just kidding. Gosh, I don't know if there was a specific timeline on that. I mean, I did a lot of quote unquote research on my own and realized I couldn't control it. And so that illusion was gone pretty fast that I'd ever be able to handle it normally. But that's a good question. What was hard for me was feeling in between two worlds. Like, I didn't belong in the drunk world, but I also didn't belong in AA yet. I hadn't made a place. Everything was so unfamiliar. Mm-hmm. And so jumping from those realms and doing it sober and feeling so raw and vulnerable, I don't know that I would have been able to do it without the help of other people, like you said, and compassion and love. Yeah, because I call it was the last house on the street for me, is mm-hmm. how I think of it, like the last stop. And had to get off at that floor of the elevator. But yeah, I felt pretty defeated.
So did you get a sponsor at that point?
Yes, I
When
got a
did
sponsor.
so when you made the decision to like I'm gonna do like how long before you got a sponsor?
Oh, it was pretty quick. Like once I started going to meetings, because I had a lot of doubt before I started sobriety and was trying to do it on my own. But once I went to meetings, I was in. I was sold. I just had nothing. I was out of ideas. You
I
know.
think I was the same. I did 60 days at home this time because I didn't want to go to AA
Oh,
or 12 step.
interesting. Yeah.
So that's how I started. I started very much like, it's so funny because I didn't know really what restless, irritable, and discontent really was until
Yeah.
that first 60 days sober by myself.
Right.
That's
Right.
why I say it was a hard start because I was like,
Exactly.
I fucking knew I was fucked. And then when I
Yeah.
did go to meetings, I was like, oh yeah, these people know kind of where they're going and what they're doing, and I surely
They
didn't.
have it together.
Yeah.
They so once I made that decision, I probably found a sponsor within a month or
Okay.
two. Yeah. Yeah. I just decided to do it all. What's the point? Kind of like when I had started therapy a little bit before I got sober, maybe a year or so. It was the first time that I really was honest with my therapist. I was like, I can't half-ass this. And that's how I felt with sobriety. I have to try. I at least have to try. And if I'm going to be doing this, why not just do it? Right? I'm here.
Yeah.
Do it.
You might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I gave it the college try where I was like, I wanted to make sure that like I was going to prove them wrong, right? That like,
Of course.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, of
cause,
course.
because it
I had
can't work
that.
for somebody like me, and then
No.
because I'm a snowflake is what they say,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was terminally unique, and so I was gonna prove that it was like, you know what, I'm gonna do all this shit and really prove it wrong because because it is, because how could they know, and then and why would quote unquote seeking spirituality or this other fucking amending shit or personal inventory shit, why would that even fucking matter, right? Like to me it was like I have a problem with alcohol. I don't have a problem with fucking personal inventory. I know what I am. I'm a piece of shit. I don't need to write it down anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and
Like I'm already so low. Are you telling me there's a basement to my rock bottom here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
yeah.
I want to feel better.
Yeah, exactly. And me apologizing to other people is not going to make me fucking. They owe me those motherfuckers. You know what I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I fucking blah blah blah. So many things like I thought about that. Again, it goes back to my sponsor, my second sponsor. Yes. Let me tell you about my first sponsor though. My first sponsor, he was 24 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
He at the time, and I don't even know if he had a job. And honestly, I didn't even like. All I heard, I had read the big book on a weekend, right? It was like 164 pages. I read that
Oh, wow.
far. I was like, I read it all. I was like, okay, so this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Right.
And then when I was like, okay, so I get the concept, right? And then I was like, all right, so I'm gonna go get us one of those sponsors that they talk about. And I kind of knew everything. I had been in the program when I was younger, but that was kind of the point. Is so I'm listening to a dude who's 24 years old, and he knows the big book, but the fact is that he doesn't have any life experience. He doesn't have I'm 42 years old,
Right.
I got a family, I got kids, I got a wife, I got and of course he just said yes, and then the joke is basically like when they say like, look for a sponsor who has what you want, I absolutely did that. He had everything that I wanted. He didn't have a family. He didn't have a house. He didn't have any kids. He didn't have a job. You know what I mean? He had everything I fucking wanted right there because like no responsibility. He had fucking no responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? And but you know what? God bless him. He had a head on his shoulder. He was a smart dude, and he absolutely like pointed me in the right directions, right?
Amazing.
So when I'd have issues with my wife or my kids or whatever medical shit, he'd be like, "Yeah, go ask that person, or go ask that person."
Great.
Like he didn't pretend like he had the answers, which is beautiful. And but that's it. Like I what I really wanted about going to AA, which I didn't really understand until it happened to me, is like I just wanted out of my life. You know what I mean? Like I was still seeking, like, I needed a break, from actually living my life. And the best part about going to AA is they kept pointing me back home. Like they didn't say, yeah, come sit here and, take a break and rest your nerves, little man. What they said is like, what are you doing at home? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are you being of service? And and it was really about getting out of that bullshit. It gave me purpose, and I was like, oh shit, like this is how you're supposed to be in the world. That's weird.
I had the same exact
You did?
feeling. Oh yeah. I had no idea.
So what happened? What did your sponsor like give you in and help you lick your wounds, or did they say, what are you fucking doing? Get up and get moving. What happened?
So she was a great sponsor because she was a few years older than me, and we had similar lives. And she had 5 years sober at the time, and which I thought she was lying, because I didn't think people actually went that long. I thought that I had this whole idea that people actually drank, but then they told their sponsors that it would be like too damaging to admit that they drank, so then they just kept their sobriety date. I don't know where I came up with that, but
that's what we would do.
It's right. It's impossible. I'm like, 5 years. Come on.
Yeah.
Give me a break. So, but she was really cool. I thought she was really cool and just really nice and really sweet. And I related to her. And I remember she just knew who she was. I remember when we went to this meeting on like a Sunday night, and I had a Redskins shirt on. And I said, oh, did you watch the football game? And she looked at me and she goes, no, I don't like football. And I was like, we're allowed to not like football? I don't like football either. But I thought we all had to pretend. And just, she was so sure of herself and didn't care. And now I very admittedly don't like football. But it just inspired me that I had choice in how I live my life and whether or not I drink. And yeah.
I've only watched one football game in 10 years. And it was, gosh, it was probably like 4 or 5 months ago, whatever last season was. I just watched one game. And I don't know why. I was sick and there was nothing else on, and I just watched it. And then, and it was so weird because somebody texted me like, hey, you watching the game? And I was like, oddly, I am. Right? When I got sober, I couldn't stand watching sports anymore. I used to watch it all the time. I used to watch boxing.
Well, that's because we could drink. It was a great drinking activity. So yeah, I was the biggest sports fan. Redskins, Caps, Orioles, Senators or Nationals. Like, any sport. Loved it. Loved the sport.
Yeah, I didn't love the sports. I just loved drinking.
Exactly.
So to me, it was just like
guise. Yeah.
And I also stopped watching news, basically. So I don't really watch news like
I don't either.
Like I used to, right? Or listen to talk radio or all the other bullshit that I ended up doing. I mean, I'll still get sucked in every once in a while. Whatever, something will come up in my algorithm, and I'll get sucked in. So newsworthy anyway. But I still do that shit. But yeah, I just stopped doing all that stuff because it just was like. I mean, it's pointless. So yeah, I understand where you see that. So talking about that, were you ever like jealous of other people's recovery? Because I know that I was. Like I was just like, oh, I'll never get there. Like, so what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Like they have their shit together. They look like they pull up there fucking and like, they're just fucking happy, skipping in their steps and shit. That always bugged the fuck out of me. Happy fucking sober people. Couldn't stand it. And so,
it was like, weird.
You know what I mean? It gets really weird, doesn't it? Yeah, you're like, fuck, how can you be so goddamn happy coming to this goddamn meeting? Just fucking climb into this misery bucket, would you?
Yeah. Yeah, like calm down with your irrational exuberance.
Yeah, fuck you and your, I'm a grateful alcoholic bullshit. Fuck you.
And now I probably sound like that.
Yeah, I know.
Light and love and...
Yeah, you and your puppy fucking yoga.
Exactly. That's so dumb. That's the stupidest. Stupidest thing I've ever heard of. That's what I would have thought then.
Yeah. But were you ever like seriously jealous? Yeah.
I was jealous of people who got sober very young, like 18-year-olds or people who've been in the program a long time and had like X amount of years because they got sober when they were 18. But you know what? I got sober when I was 28, and I needed all of that time so much. Like I needed it to build who I am. I wouldn't be doing the career I'm doing. I wouldn't be living the life I'm living had I not gone through that journey. For example, if I did get sober at 18, everything would have looked completely different. And I think we need every blow that we get.
It took every drink to get me to this spot. Yeah. And I think that's this really sad thing too, because again, like I struggled for years, you know, and for those 2 years. And I think if I would have got it right away, I wouldn't have appreciated it when it came, you know?
Nope.
It's such a weird place. It's like, you know, it does take every bit of everything to get you into this spot. And that's why they call it bottom, right? You know, because it's like, you know, and then some people think, oh, my bottom, you know, is this. And then all of a sudden they find themselves going further. And they're like, no, I guess it's this. And then, no, I guess it's this other thing, you know. And, you know, it's so weird. Like, I'm so glad that certain things were not my bottom. For instance, let me give you a really good example. Like when something could have gone wrong and it didn't. I was drinking. I was about 2 drinks in, doing vodka, and they were always like double, triple vodkas, right? So I don't know, whatever you want to count those as. And I was playing in the pool with my daughter, and I thought I could like flip her legs over, like, you know, and like go into the pool, and I fucking one hand slipped off her leg. Basically, I could have just easily crushed my daughter's face on the fucking side of the pool, and I didn't. I actually held on with one hand and ended up pushing her into the pool and not crushing her fucking face. But again, I was drunk, right? So it's like I would like to think that if it would have happened then, if that would have happened, that I would have stopped. But the truth was I probably wouldn't have, because it was so selfish and self-centered that it, you know, I could have wrecked a car, I could have DUI'd, I could have fucking done all the things that we see on the interwebs and all the things that we see about other people, blah, blah, blah. I probably would have done all that shit, because really what it takes is this personal, internal, like, fucking break. It has nothing to do with outside circumstances as much as it has to do with my fucking soul. Like, so when my soul broke, that's when I was done, right? But until then,
exactly how I feel.
Until it could have been any number of fucking bullshit things, DUIs, fines, fucking personal injuries, whatever, medical issues. It could have been any number of those things. But it was only until my soul actually fucking broke that I was really capable. And I know that of myself. That's the sad part. So I just, you're right. I took every fucking drink just to kind of get me down that road. So one thing that really did help, I remember, is it with my wife. She was going to Costco once, and she said this. She goes, "I'm going to Costco. Do you want anything?" She goes, "What do you want?" Right? And then and I said, "Oh, just give me the 2 of the margaritas and a case of beer." Right? And then she stopped for a second and said, "What do you really want?" And I was just like, fucking bitch. Right? I was just like, because,
were you Miss Cleo?
Yeah, but in my mind, I was literally said, like, bitch, you can't carry what I can fucking want. Like, you know what I mean? Whoa. Like, I just was like, oh, because that's what I knew myself to be. I'm like, but that's where there was like a little switch that went off. That was in like the last year, where it was like, she was almost giving me permission to drink how I wanted to drink. Yeah. Like, because I was like, well, how much? So I'm like, well, if she knows, I don't have to hide it anymore. And so actually, I think really contributed to my progression, because I was just like, I was no longer playing the bullshit game of like hiding bottles in the bottom of the fucking trash or burying them so nobody could see how much I'm doing or whatever. I just kind of like started going off more, and that's when it got even more severe, or more consumption.
Yeah.
So what about you? What do you think was a big catalyst for your wake up?
Ooh. Well, I wanted to touch on something that really helped me even at the beginning, and that was helping other people. And I don't mean sponsoring people. I don't even necessarily meaning telling people who had less days than me my experience, but just seeing where I could contribute. Because a really hard part of early sobriety for me was like, what do I do at events and normal situations?
What do I do with these fucking
Literally,
hands?
I think of the Will Ferrell when he's like, take whatever movie is, he's like, what should I do with my hands? What should I do with my hands? That's literally, I didn't know how to interact with anybody sober, nor did I want to. So I would be at a family event or something, and then I'm like, if I'm doing something, I feel more comfortable. So I would offer to do the dishes, or offer to bring something, or ask someone if I could get them a drink or help. And that just made a world of a difference. And how that translates to meetings and the recovery world is get a service position, show up, greet the newcomer. Because if you have 4 days and they have not 24 hours, you can still be of service. Mm-hmm. So I definitely think that was a catalyst. And once I realized that it's hard for self-pity and that like love towards others to coexist, it really helped me get out of my head. So I would recommend that to people.
Yeah, I think just going to meetings is part of that service for me.
Yeah, you're
like
showing up is service.
Just the fact that you're a face in the meeting that is familiar for somebody, because remember, those people did the same thing for you too, right? It's like, they're doing the same thing. Like, we're all kind of like showing up to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And
it can be really cool if you think about it. Like, it's a pretty cool deal.
Let's not try and take it too geeky, all right?
I was thinking that as soon as I said it. Did I tell you I was sponsoring someone, and when she turned 21, she didn't know what she should do because she was in college at University of Maryland. And I was like, why don't you just go bowling or something? And she looked at me and was like, are you effing kidding? And I said, I don't know where that came from. Like, please never talk to me again. Delete my number. That was the worst thing I could have said. Do whatever you want. Go to a club. But I couldn't believe that came out of my mouth.
Have you tried macrame?
I felt so dorky. Yeah.
That's great. Have you tried bowling? Yeah, no.
I'm not wearing those shoes. Get out of here.
Sobriety is so cool, man. So I don't even know what we were talking about. It was interesting, though.
I was saying it's the whole system of meetings, and I was in New York and could find a meeting within half a mile that I could walk to, and I just think if you look at it from a macro perspective, it is neat how it works. That's all I'm saying. It
is a miraculous system.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, it is a miracle. So I think one of the things that I in that same vein, I don't know how many years I was sober, but 3 or 4. And I was really getting into the program, and I was really kind of feeling the recovery oats. And I was driving by the club, and you can like look down the street and possibly see it. And I was thinking, those toothless, smelly old fuckers, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that are changing the family that I'm going home to see right now. And if it, like, you know what I mean? Like, the relationship to me was like really weird. Like, it was so endearing, and I had so much love in my heart for these toothless, smelly old motherfuckers. And I just saw them very differently at that point of like how sweet and endearing that they really were, how heartfelt that they are about wanting you to come back and experience whatever it is that we have to offer, right? A sober breath, right? And how much it really does change, like, the family that I'm going home to be with, like, oh my gosh, like, they're like, we're not fighting, nobody's yelling, everything is fucking like everything is calming down. Yeah, we still have issues, don't get it wrong, but the issues are a lot less than they used to be. They're like now
Yeah.
instead of every weekend, we're down to every 3 months we're having a blow up, or and then
That's
it gets
amazing.
6 months, then da da da. And I just didn't understand like how that was even possible on that level. That these toothless, smelly old motherfuckers like are changing my life, and it just seems so weird, right? So I know what you're saying. It's like it's endearing, right? That we have this system set up, that we have this structure and this support network and all this caring and loving people. But it's still something for the life of me, though. I'll still sit there on karaoke Friday night going, how the fuck did I get here?
No, me too. Me too. Like, why am I enjoying myself right now?
Yeah, why is this happening? I shouldn't be, but
This
I
is
am.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost. Yeah. It's almost like you're propelled like from back in time, like 10 years ago me to now. And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what dimension am
Yeah,
I in?
it's like a fucking time warp, completely shift. Yeah.
But
So,
for people who are struggling and think they should have got it by now, and if we all got sober at the same time under the same life circumstances, we wouldn't be able to help each other. And so your story is so powerful, whether you're sitting here listening sober or drunk, that your experience will help somebody so much, no matter how many times you've relapsed, no matter how much you're struggling. So just hang in there and know that, truly.
so what would you say to somebody in their first 30 days of sobriety who are listening, who are like kind of like we were, like half in, not really understand, like, you know what I mean? Like they're uneasy with the idea of, it's like I think you said it at one point, like you're like, I just was like, you were kind of unsure about, you didn't want to go in. You didn't want to go all the way in and
Yeah.
do this. And then,
Yeah.
so like, what would you say to somebody who's like, whatever, 30, 60, 90 days, who is like uneasy about getting sober or struggling with their sobriety, in that burning desire phase? What would you say to them?
I would say if you're struggling in this moment, start the 24 hours again, and we'll talk tomorrow. Maybe you can drink tomorrow, but let's not drink today. I'd also say that this sounds counterintuitive, but you can always go back to that world. I can go back right now. If I decide that that's going to serve me better, that misery for whatever reason, I didn't sign any contract. I can go back out and guess what? That whole scene is still there, exactly where
Exactly
I left
as
it.
you left it.
Exactly as I left it. So know that. For some reason, that is almost a weird comfort to me. Like, I don't know. I'm not drinking today, but if I want to drink tomorrow, I can, So I would say just give it a chance and just see if you can hold off and revisit tomorrow and start your day again right now.
Yeah, I always go back to basics, which is like,
Yeah.
d- make a commitment to be sober just starting now, right? Even
Yeah.
if you are drunk, by the way. And because that, to me, over that 2-year period, that really helped me to like continue to try and do that. I actually was drinking less by the time I actually stopped. And believe it or not, like
Oh,
I think that
interesting.
really contributed to my ability to be able to stop on top of that, because it was like, I mean, I was hallucinating. I did hear polka music. I did fight a black demon at one point. It was like fucking like, it was like,
Oh, God.
it was a trip. And so I did have withdrawal symptoms, but I think that they were lessened because I was really always trying to stop. And so I was kind of titrating down. And so continue to do that. That's a very basic thing, which is like, if you're still drinking, you're in active drinking, but you're wanting to stop, obviously make every day a commitment. Every day you get up, try to make it longer and longer and longer. So like I said, there's days when I got 3 days sober and I thought that was amazing. One time I actually got 5 days sober, and that was a fucking record for me. And I was just like so ecstatic that I celebrated by
It's a big
drinking.
deal.
So I got some more vodka at day 5, and I
So many people do that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So, but let me just say, I think that really did help me to like understand, like, oh, this is possible. Like, I can actually stop on some level. So, now if I could just put all those days together, for a longer period of time, then I'll actually have what they call sobriety, right? So yeah, it took that, and again, it started by stopping. So I just make that commitment every day. Then make it to the bed sober is the best that I can do. Like, I mean, if that is the only thing that you do, you've done a fucking 180 turnaround, right? You're beginning a process. If you actually make it to bed sober, and then you can get up and do it all over again, oh my gosh, you're like on a roll.
And
like,
how
holy
good does
shit.
that feel? Every night, it never gets old. The fact that I'm going to bed sober, every night I want to throw a little party for myself. I mean, it's such an amazing feeling. It never gets old waking up coherent and not looking for my phone or my car or my belongings. It's amazing. And you might not feel in your physical body or even your mental frame right now that you want to get sober and you're questioning it, but your soul wants you to get sober. So give your soul a chance, even if you have to kind of just assuage the mind and body for a little bit and get them through with whatever coping mechanisms. Give your soul that chance to really, really make an honest try.
And the word of the day is assuage. Only on soberpod.com. Okay, so don't forget, here's the other thing. So the decisions that you make drunk can help you get sober. For instance, I subscribe to Reddit.r/stop drinking. Yeah, I was drunk and I hit, I'm going to fucking subscribe to this fucking thing. And so
maybe that was a soul thing.
Exactly.
Right?
So if you're drinking right now, obviously subscribe to this podcast and you won't remember it, but tomorrow,
cheers.
Yeah, tomorrow your sober self will thank you for it. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing is like, as much as you like, you can be a fuck up, you can be a drunk, you can be an alcoholic, active alcoholic, you can still be working towards recovery. I just want to make sure that we like, lay that out there because it doesn't happen just out of fucking nowhere. It doesn't happen just like, I get struck fucking sober and I show up at a fucking meeting and I got this thing.
Right.
It is a hardest process I've ever had to do in my entire life. I've had to make so many more sacrifices in order to be here today. And that was sacrificing the party or the get together or the bullshit or the trip or the vacation.
The sacrifices, right?
Quote unquote sacrifices. But here's the thing. If I would have done all those things, I would be fucking dead today, right? The doctors would be scraping, my fucking bladder clean of all the fucking cancer that killed me. Instead, now I'm sober and I can actually fucking show up for the appointment and I can actually show up not fucking drunk and get, you know what I mean? And get the surgery and pay for the fucking health care and do all the other things that I would have never been able to do had I continued the path in the last 10 years of drinking and drugging and blah, blah, blah. And I know this doesn't scare anybody, but the fact is like, if you can manage it and if you can get a few hours sober, do yourself a favor, make it to a meeting, sit down and listen. And I know it's like, I always say to myself too, it's like when people are at meetings drunk, I'm like, I would have never fucking attended a meeting drunk ever. Like I would have, like, what a waste of a fucking high. You know what I mean? I would have never done it. I would have been like, fuck that shit. But today I really understand it. And when I see people come in, I get it. I get it more than ever. Because right now, if I was to pick up a drink and if I was to go back to drinking, I can be guaranteed that I would try to find a meeting. I would have that much more compassion for myself to show up drunk if I could. You know what I mean? Don't drive, but show up drunk, right? So, but yeah, so I guess that's the idea is I say for the dude with the 30 years, keep trying. Don't forget that, like, that it's like it does happen. And if not you, then who, right?
If not now, then when?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Lindsey, what do we say to the kind, wonderful, vivacious, vicarious vixens in the audience?
Vixens. Vivacious vixens. I love alliteration.
Yeah.
I say trust your truth.
And I say stay active, stay sober, and peace.
See ya.
Soberpod.com. Yeah. It was a sight to see them. Breakfast with Sprite and Seagrams. Wrestling with my vices, exercising my demons. My blessings were blocked, so I never got the message. I'm stressing, I'm only 12 steps from an exit. Regret it, because my imperfections were perfected. I ain't run from it, I accept it and rep it. It's a badge to me, good stories come from a tragedy. And when you survive, the glory will come in Act 3. The wait's over, 366 days sober. Morning affirmations that can start the day for you. Use my favorite bookmark for a placeholder. Finish when the day's over. Okay. Yeah, sober pod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.